Back in the 2000s, the Neptunes were producing everything. Snoop Dogg, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Jay-Z, the list was endless. Together they mastered the principles which I think made the 2000s era so good. Groove, rhythm, interesting sound selection, and really importantly, they left so much space for the artist to shine. So in this video, I'm breaking down the Neptunes method. We're going to make 3 beats in some different styles, inspired by some of my favorite beats from the early 2000s. Let's dive straight into it. So the first track that we're going to use as inspiration is Frontin by Pharrell and Jay-Z. So we're going to make sure that the beat has lots of space, lots of different pockets, really simple but smooth and melodic as well. The main VST that we're going to be using for all of the beats is the Triton. The Korg Triton was this epic workstation that everyone loved to use in the early 2000s, and you can get it as a VST now, and it has all those amazing presets that you would recognize instantly. So let's start off with this vintage electric piano, which is my favorite sound in there. So we want to start off with a basic chord progression. We want to make sure that the chords are smooth, melodic. 7th chords work really well, major 7th chords, which are like Pharrell's favorite chords to use. And we want to keep the rhythm and groove in there, so not just playing held down chords. We want to make sure that we have movement to them, and then we can allow the percussion to groove with the chord progression as well. Working at 99 beats per minute for this first track. So E minor 7, that's a nice smooth chord to start with. And then F major 7, just those 2 chords together, really simple but it sounds nice. Yeah, let's record that in. So you can see from playing it in live that we're quite off grid, especially on those 2nd chords, and it just makes it really groovy, really easy to just shake your shoulders to, if you know what I mean. And then instead of just having this play all the time, we'll do a 2nd variation where we add in some more chords. So now we have 2 variations of the same progression, just makes it a bit more interesting, and now we can build upon this foundation. So let's layer these chords with another sound. Triton, the chorus E guitar. This is an infamous sound that you'll recognize from so many Neptunes productions. And what I want to do is just use the same chords, but I'm not going to just copy it over exactly. We'll just sort of emphasize the downbeat. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's throw in a bass again in the Triton. We'll just use the fretless bass. I'm not going to do anything fancy here. I'm just going to copy the root notes of the chords that we've been doing. So it's important to note that I've not really been quantizing any of these sounds so far. I think a big part of the early 2000s sound is things sounding sort of MIDI. I feel like MIDI became a thing and everyone took advantage of it. So because everything is very much MIDI, I don't want to quantize anything because it's just going to give more groove and make sure things don't sound too robotic and on grid. So for the drum sounds, I've got a Lunch 77 Neptunes kit. Now for a hat, we can do a more interesting pattern. A hat or a shaker usually works well. You can do a couple of them as well. So you can see you got one hat that's doing a more interesting pattern and you can play around with the groove there. And then the shaker just comes in very sparsely, just every 4 beats or so, you're just going to have something interesting in the space. And then that's what creates a nice little bounce to it. And then for the final drum layer, we're going to use the Triton again because there's this patch in there that you'll hear in a lot of Neptunes tracks, and it's just the percussion kit. And all you have to do is press record, just let it keep playing over and just record in interesting things in different rhythms. And eventually you can go back in and just keep the bits you like, take out the bits that don't work so well. So then with a lot of fiddling, this is what we end up with for the drums. Okay, the track's sounding pretty good. Now I just want to add maybe one more melodic layer for now. We're going to use the clav in the Triton. This is just another one of those sounds you're going to hear all throughout early 2000s. Something like that, and you can tweak it as you need, but you can see it's just a nice little accent sound that comes in and works as like a counter melody almost. Yeah, that works. So I think this is all we need for the main beat. It's really simple, it's pretty smooth, it's got a lot of space for the artist, which to me is the most important thing. So yeah, we've got really simple beat, works really well. The only thing that really needs to be done to finish it off would be a bridge. Now we'll come back to this and do bridges towards the end of the video, because I'm gonna have to get into a lot of detail on that, because it's quite a big part of the Neptunes beats. So the only other thing we need to do to finish this besides a bridge is of course that classic 4-count intro that you'll hear on so many Pharrell beats. So to do that, let's just drag everything across. Then you just decide what you want to have hit. I think we do the chord and we just copy it 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe the drums as well, and then that should sound okay. Okay, for the next beat, let's take some inspiration from Like I Love You by Justin Timberlake, phenomenal track, and Got Your Money, Kelis and ODB, which is one of my favorite beats from the Neptunes. So to do this, let's start off with the drums. I'm just going to use a break for this because I just want a simple, straight boom bap drum beat. Obviously Pharrell is a really good drummer, so he could just play in drums live. We can use breaks, it's 2025, why not? So now going into the melody, again, we're going to be using the Triton. Again, we're going to use the chorus E guitar. And again, simple chords, let's just come up with a progression. We'll start off with an A minor chord, something just a bit darker to start off with. And to be honest, I'm just going to do the same movement, which is going up a semitone. It's a bit lazy, but honestly, it always works like really well. So just a B flat. So now again, it's just going to be about the rhythm of how we play it in. One thing I love about these types of beats is that they're always designed to make you dance, whatever type of drums you use, and it's all because of the rhythm and groove in the melody that you're playing in the chords. Now, a lot of these Neptunes beats had a lot of small melodic sounds happening, a lot of counter melodies, a lot of little melodies that really sparse, maybe even one note, but they all just, you know, build up the overall picture. So again, we're going to use a clav, and we're just going to do that typical thing that you're going to hear in so many Neptunes beats. That's all we need to do, just keep it simple. Now for the bass pattern this time, let's do something with a lot more movement that's just constantly playing and is going to add to that overall groove. Now again in the Triton we can add some strings, and that's just going to be something that you can add on the downbeat just to emphasize that chord. Really simple, just again playing that one chord, and you can see of all the sounds that we've done in both beats is very staccato. It's very much, you don't hold the notes down, you play things very sharp very quickly, and that adds to the percussive nature of everything. Okay, for this third beat, we want to take inspiration from Drop It Like It's Hot. So we're going to really put into practice the idea of unique sound selection. And I think an easy way to do that is by recording your own percussion sounds. It's easy to do this with anything you've got around the house. You can use like different things. You can use your hands. So we're going to slow things down a little bit, 92 BPM, same as Drop It Like It's Hot. So let's just start off by recording in a clap sound. We can just literally do this with our hands, of course, or maybe a snap instead. So obviously we can just find the perfect hits and use that as like a one shot. And you get the room noise as well, which adds its own ambience to things, especially when you've got multiple layers. It's insane that even playing to a click, I still can't get things on grid. We'll move the click a little bit earlier, I think. So then you get the finger snap first, which is a bit higher, and then the lower pitch of the clap slightly after. So now we've copied that over. Let's add in a kick. For this, I'll just use a kick sound. It'll be easier. Actually, an 808 might be even better for this because it has a tone to it. Let's throw in like a shaker or a hi-hat as well, just to add a bit more rhythm. Now, of course, Drop It Like It's Hot is infamous for its spray can sound and also like the mouth clicks. So let's record in our own clicks and we can do it in an interesting rhythm that complements what we've already got. And now let's record one other sound in, maybe using something around us that can emulate like the spray can sound. Maybe just something like that. So this is the sort of creativity that you need if you want to get to the level of producers like the Neptunes. When you can implement things outside of the box, that's where you get the best sort of music. So yeah, let's do basically a bridge. So in this track, we just want to do like melodic chords. So just a nice little descending pattern is all you need. And in a beat like this, where there is really no melodic sound so far, you can do anything and it will just sound like a cool juxtaposition to what you've already got, like a contrast. It's hard to play those chords properly. So yeah, that one's fairly simple. You can layer more sounds to go with that quick chord progression. So that's basically the blueprint to something like Drop It Like It's Hot. So now let's go back to that first track and see if we can put a cool bridge in there. So as a reminder, this is what we had. So obviously this track is already quite melodic sounding. So how do we make a bridge that is even more melodic? Well, the easy thing to do is change up from the whole staccato thing. So you can see all of the chords, all of the melodic sounds were very sharp, short notes. Now we can just elongate them and everything will sound a lot more smooth and silky. Yeah, okay. That's the first chord we want. So at A minor ninth, that just sounds like a nice smooth chord and it doesn't jar too much as you change going from the previous chords. From here, to be honest, you could just draw the notes in and just mess about to find the right progression. Usually like a good 4-chord progression would work really well for a bridge. It's just a lot more melodic than the 2 chords that we were doing before. I think that can work. Let's just layer it with the other sound. Now for the bass, we could just hold down the notes, but I think maybe this should stay like staccato. It should have like a walking bass line to complement this. And then I don't know what the rest of the notes are, but we can literally copy that. Cool, that sounds pretty nice. That bass just makes it a lot more melodic. Now we can do the strings. So again, let's just throw in another of the Tritons. So let's just go to strings. Legato strings is usually the best one. So I think as a bridge that sounds pretty cool, but the only way to know is to hear it playing straight after the verse and then how it goes back into it as well. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, and if you want to see another Pharrell tutorial, check out this video right here.